Something else that's interesting, I'm going to talk about this for half a second. Um, I talked about a while ago about the idea of the stones. You know, I talked about this concept of um, I talked about this concept of what if the stones are being replaced in this next upcoming saga with individual people? And I've talked about this before. I've got old videos about it. I've got new videos about it. I've talked about this concept, and now you're seeing it. And the one that people are bringing up is they're bringing up like three, three to four different people, and um, let me see. Infinity Stones turn to people. Let me see if I can pull this up. Stones turned to people. Right, right. So, oh yeah, people are bringing up like White Vision and stuff like that. Um, and Agatha and Adam Warlock because he had an Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone in the comics. But I'm not focused on any of those characters. The character I am focused on is Loki and this new Native American character and Wanda. Wanda was said to have been a Nexus being. Loki is currently sitting at the helm of time, holding the entire multiverse together. And this new character is getting this limelight and getting these new powers and is now hopping multiversal dimensions after having acquired her powers from the Space Stone. So, but when the thing that comes into question about that is that I would have equated if we were talking about new iterations of stones, right? I would have equated America Chavez with the Space Stone because she's literally a physical being that exists in every reality, as a singular being, and she's able to hop between multiversal dimensions with no feedback whatsoever. She's not glitching out like in the Spider-Verse. She's not causing incursions or wherever she may go, like in what we're seeing with the projects. And she's not having to, um do something crazy to do it. She just does it. It's literally her entire power. That's what she does. So seeing that, I was like, oh, so she's the Space Stone, right? Wanda's the Reality Stone. Loki is the Time Stone. That means we need Mind, Power, Soul coming up soon, right? But now we're getting told that this new Native American character, whose name I can't remember for the life of me, I haven't even seen the episode fully. I've just been spoiled about stuff as of late. We're being told, oh yeah, her powers are actually coming from said what is it, tesseract of that universe. Also, another question that I have to ask is that I think Marvel is debunking or rather changing the rules, because here's the thing: if you look far enough, everything in Marvel is connected. And when I see everything in Marvel is connected, I mean everything in Marvel is connected. I mean the fact of that the comic book, there's an official comic book Bible for Marvel Comics as a whole that refers to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Earth 199999. Iman Vellani has said it on the red carpet. It was brought up again by Miguel O'Hara when he said, "Don't get me started about what is it, that little nerd in Doctor Strange from Earth 99999." He actively mentioned the MCU, and we saw other instances in that same film where you see active mentionings of the MCU, right? Um, the Sonyverse is actively mentioned and tied in together, and they're tying in the X-Men 97 projects and whatnot, and the old X-Men films from the 2000s and all those other characters, right? Especially with the upcoming Deadpool 3 project. My point to that is that if everything is all connected, one of the things that was interesting about the time heist in Endgame and then their ability to use the Infinity Stones from alternate timelines or alternate universes is that in the comics, you can't take stones out of their universe and expect them to work. The only time that was acceptable and it worked was in the video game adaptation or the video game equivalency of Battle World, where new stones were made, the Evolution Stone, the Ice, the Genesis Stone, the Death Stone, those guys. And then when the Infinity Stones were brought together in Battle World in the 2015 version, I think it was Black Panther who had the Infinity Gauntlet on him, and he tried to step up to Doom, and Doom was like, "Come here." Like that was, yeah, that was that though, and it only worked because it was an amalgamation of universes, so the rules were like sort of bending at a certain extent about that rule of if it's outside of its universe, the stones don't work. Now, where we have seen that rule actively applied to itself is that in the TVA, none of the Infinity Stones work the way they're supposed to. However, we're seeing that stones from alternate universes and alternate timelines are being used and working pretty much automatically. And this is the case with, you saw this is the case with Ultron Prime, I think his name is. I think that's what he's technically called, or Ultra Vision. Ultra Vision, my bad. Ultra Vision. You saw that with him. You're seeing that with this character with these space stone based abilities. You're seeing that if it's to believe that Wanda is part reality stone, you're seeing that with her. You're just seeing that across the board, and it's like if they're reworking that, then that means they're retconning something from the earlier comics about the fact that other universes can't do that, or that other, what's the proper word for this, megaverse, omniverses, whatever you want to call it. um I say omniverses because in the biggest instance that people are gonna bring up if you ask them about if Infinity Stones work in another universe is when there was crossovers between the Justice League and the DC universe as a whole and the Marvel universe, and a version of Darkseid went and he took the Infinity Stones because he saw how powerful they were, and he took them back to the DC world and was like, I'm about to mess up everybody's day. And he tried to pull a little, and nothing happened because the stones don't work in that universe. They can only work in their universe. We're seeing the opposite of which is here. And I'm interested to see what that will look like in future projects, and if they're of the what that retcon will imply and what it will do to the timeline as a whole, you know? Um, and if they are replacing the Infinity Stones with specific individuals, one, Wanda's technically dead. Well, I don't believe she's dead because nobody, no case. That's what I always say. Um, and then these other two, Loki is currently, a little preoccupied at the moment, holding together the multiverse, and this new character is being drug along by Dark Strange and to go do God knows what. So, and we don't know who the other three are. If I had to guess who one of the other three are, I would say something like Galactus for the Power Stone, constantly angry, constantly hungry and whatnot, and that's where his power cosmic comes from, is that Infinity Stone. Um, for the other two, I don't know per se what I would do for those characters, especially Soul. Maybe Adam Warlock finds it in what at some point in the future, and he becomes that. And then for the Mind Stone, I really don't know what to do with the Mind Stone. That thing can just kind of be, getting tossed around wherever it may be. Maybe the Mind Stone is the Phoenix, the psionic mental aspect of the Phoenix and its burning energy, and that's sort of condensed into that. And the same way that the Mind Stone was able to unlock and turn Wanda into her true potential, or at least, kickstart it, it attaches itself to the Jean Grey of the 616 universe, and that's what That's what happens. Um, but yeah, it's been an impromptu episode of Madman Activities. I'll see you guys around.